tutorial. We will start by creating a folder for our project, HTML tutorials. We will use VS Code for our project. You could download VS Code by searching for VS Code, then code.visualstudio.com. Download it for your specific platform. Then let us drag and drop our project to VS Code. Then create a file called index.html. You could call it whatever you want. Now exclamation mark and tab. This is the basic HTML structure. It's a boilerplate. Let us call our title programming tutorial. Okay. Now in our body, this part of our HTML document is what we see in our page in our browser. This part is this part over here. It includes the title, the metadata, and everything else. Now in the body, we could write, for example, a paragraph. P is for paragraph. Hello world, and save it. Then refresh. You see hello world here. This is how you put a paragraph. Then you could also put a link. For example, you can create a file called about.html. Then you can link it to your link here, .html. Then about. Now refresh. This is the about page. You go to the about page here. So this is how you put links to your HTML document. Now let's see how we put images. For example, let's search for an image, just an image. Okay, let's put this image, for example. Oh, Pixabay. It's a copyrighted image website and video website, so it's good to know it, by the way. Okay, video source, alternative text, image, and the title, image. You could put this or you could leave it, but it's good to put it. Okay, refresh. You see the image and the title. The alternative text is works when the image is not working. For example, see image. For example, you could write image alternative like this, and it works just the same image also. So this is how you put images. For example, you could use view source to see your document, HTML document source. Then there are nested and empty elements in HTML. You could, for example, use a break line here and refresh. There is a line break. We could do it again, a line break again. You see it right here. You could use a horizontal rule here. See the line. So these are empty elements, where as for example, the paragraph is a nested element. You could put another element, like for example span, inside the paragraph. For example, hey, hello world, hey. This is an inline element. Inline elements are elements that are that do not create a new line, and block elements are elements that create a new line. For example, what if I create a div here, a division, then put something in it. See, it's a new line. whereas the span is in the same line. This is what empty elements and nested elements are. Now what what I have written here, href and the source and alt and title, we call them attributes, whereas this img, the p, the a, and everything, the head, the title, they're called elements. There are many other attributes for you to look. You could search them. Now we will look on headings. There are headings starting from h1 to h6. For example, let us see from h1 to h2. Hello. h3. Hello. Now, as the number increases, the size decreases. So h1 is the biggest. It goes till h6. So this is about headings. For example, you could write lorem, 10 characters of lorem ipsum, and put it in this structure, and you save it and you refresh it. You see it's in the same line, whereas we have 3 lines here. Now to preserve this, we can use pre-tag, and you could see it's in 3 lines now. So this is pre-formatted text. To create a pre-formatted text, now you could create styles in your HTML using 3 ways. You could write inline styles like style like this, and for example give it a color of red and refresh, and you see the h1 is red now. Or you could, for example, use style and write, for example, this is called the universal selector asterisk, then give it a background color of, for example, black. Let's use another color here. Okay, let's make it red, doesn't matter. Now you see how you style it. This is the okay, so that we can see the h1 here. Okay, and then you could also use a style like, for example, link red is equal to style sheet. The href is equal to style.css. This is to create to link it to an external CSS file, for example. And for example, every h2 tag to be a color of Rebecca purple. So you see this h2 is Rebecca purple. So this is how you use styles. There are other formatting styles, for example, like you could do this to the h3. You could make it bold. You can make it bold and refresh. Here it's bold. You could make it italic. And save it, and here it is italic. You could use emphasized text like emphasized text like this, and many more other formatting, for example, like mark. You could try them by yourself. Mark, let me write it here. Okay, mark. For example, market text, you could use subscript like sub, or superscript like this. So these are some formattings. You could use quotations and citations like block quotes. For example, see, it's quoted. You could use a quotation like this. Try them by your own, because this is a 15-minute tutorial. Now this is the quotation. Citation, I encourage you to see citation by yourself, for example, and other elements like bidirectional override and many more. Check them by yourself. Now we will go to comments. For example, I wanted to comment this paragraph called hello world right here. Hello world, hey. So what I'm gonna do is, if you're using VS Code, you could use control and backslash, but you could write it like this anyways. Less than, then exclamation, then 2 dashes, then the greater than. Now I'm not gonna see this hello world hey anymore. This is how you do how you put comments in HTML. There are HTML defined colors. For example, we could use, for example, tomato for our H1 style. Notice how the color changes when I refresh. So, or light sky blue, or Rebecca purple. But I encourage you to use CSS for styling. Now you could, for example, for this link, put target. Now if you use target blank, for example, and you opened the link here, it opens it in a new tab. Now try underscore top, underscore parent, and underscore self by yourself. This one is the default. Okay, this is how you use links. You could use, for example, email links like this, mail to, then the email address, for example, email@gmail.com, for example, then Gmail. Now you see this. When I click it, it takes me to available mailing app. This is how it works. I don't know how much time I'm left with. Okay, 2 minutes. Now, for example, to style it, you could use classes and IDs. Class is equal to email, for example, then go to your CSS and you target it using dot email for class, a period for class, then give it a color of aqua, for example, then refresh, you see aqua here. You can also use an ID. When you use IDs, you put hashtag instead of period. Then let's try another color, green color. Then you see it is green, or let's use black to differentiate. See, this is how it works. You could use lists, for example, unordered lists, then lists tomato, for example, ordered lists apple. Now the difference is one is numbered and the other is unordered. So if I add something here, it will give it number 2. See, This is ordered list. This is about lists. Then the next thing we're gonna see is a form. Inside the form, you could use input. For example, input text. Then let's see it. This is how it is. You could style it. Input button. Input button. Login, for example, and refresh.